Exclusive! Tottenham reach personal agreement with striker Randal Kolo Muani. Postecoglou counting down the hours. Welcome back to Tottenham News Today channel. As per a new report from media outlet TBR Football, Tottenham have informed PSG forward Randal Kolo Muani that he will be a starter and that the player is close to agreeing personal terms with the club, Spurs close to agreeing personal terms with PSG forward. We have seen Kolo Muani heavily linked to the club this window, with highly credible sources such as David Ornstein of The Athletic reporting the club's interest alongside Juventus and Manchester United. Earlier, we saw Ben Jacobs suggest that the player has become a top target for Spurs. That was quite interesting to read, given the current injury crisis Spurs have at the back. Perhaps Jacobs meant top target in attack. Although a versatile forward is definitely something important, so maybe it is top overall target. Either way, we shouldn't expect talk of this link to go away anytime soon. That said, since these reports, Dean Jones of Give Me Sport has suggested that Spurs are moving fast to beat the competition for the forward and are clear that they want to conclude a deal for the player this week. It is quite interesting to see the report that Spurs have said to the player he will be a starter. Expected him to get plenty of minutes across the whole front line, but to be a starter is interesting. It won't be up front over Dominic Solanke, you wouldn't think. Left wing over Heung-min Son in certain games could make sense, but only to rest the captain. When Ange is picking his strongest 11, expect him to be on the left-hand side. So that leaves the right-hand side. Despite his productive season, Brennan Johnson's place in the team hasn't been as secure of late, with Dejan Kulusevski preferred a few times off the right-hand side in the last couple of months. Could we see Kolo Muani playing off the right-hand side? It has been suggested in the past that he plays his best football there. We could see a front three of Kolo Muani, Solanke and Son. That would feel pretty good. Then, if by any minor miracle that Spurs can have Richarlison fit for a sustained period of time, a backup attack of Johnson, Richarlison and Mikey Moore would provide some pretty decent depth going into the business end of the 24-25 campaign. Let's wait and see how this one plays out over the coming days and perhaps weeks. Tottenham join race to sign Milan Skriniar from PSG. Spurs have positioned themselves to sign Milan Skriniar, with the Slovakian defender expected to decide on his next club in the coming days. With the January transfer window wide open, Tottenham find themselves in urgent need of defensive reinforcements, as injuries have ravaged their centre-back options. According to L'Equipe, the North London club has joined the race to secure Skriniar's signature, with the player expected to decide on his future within days. The report suggests that a resolution regarding Milan Skriniar's future could be reached by the end of the week, as his representative have recently been in Paris to advance discussions. The Slovakian defender, who has made just 5 appearances this season under Luis Enrique at PSG, is keen to secure a move that will allow him to play more regularly. Tottenham's chances hinge on their ability to present an attractive project to the former Inter Milan stalwart. While the Premier League's allure is undeniable, Milan Skriniar has no shortage of suitors. Galatasaray has reportedly been the most persistent, offering him the prospect of regular first-team football. However, financial considerations and the defender's high salary, a remnant of his lucrative move to PSG, complicate negotiations. A crowded race for the Slovakian captain. Despite Tottenham's keen interest, the competition for Skriniar remains intense. Galatasaray, as mentioned, has been pressing hardest for weeks, but the Turkish side faces challenges in accommodating his salary demands. In Italy, Napoli has also entered the fray, though the Serie A leaders are reportedly hesitant to include a purchase option in any potential loan deal, a condition PSG is keen to enforce. Closer to home, Aston Villa has emerged as another contender. The Midlands club, under Unai Emery, could offer Milan Skriniar the chance to remain in Europe's top leagues while competing for a spot in a growing project. However, Villa's interest has yet to materialise into concrete negotiations. Spurs considering a move for former Premier League midfielder in Serie A. As per a recent report from Italian journalist Mirko di Natale, Tottenham Hotspur are considering a move for Juventus midfielder Douglas Luiz. Interestingly, Sky Sports reported 2 days ago that 2 Premier League clubs were interested in the player, whom is very interested in a return to England. Sky Sports also mentioned that Juventus are considering loan offers that come with an obligation. The 26-year-old had spent 5 years at Aston Villa prior to last summer, often impressing, before joining the old lady last year. Things in Turin have not gone quite to plan so far, with the player starting just 2 Serie A games out of his 9 league apps so far under new manager Thiago Motta. There is very little doubt in any case that Luiz is a top player, as we often saw during his previous time in the Premier League. Last season, he scored 9 goals, provided 5 assists, and created 10 big chances in 35 games. 4 of those goals were penalties, but it is a testament to his technical quality that he takes and scores penalties. The issue is, as good as he is, once again, it is another player who is more of a number 8 than a number 6. When fit, Boubacar Kamara would be the one who held things down at Villa, with Luiz roaming forward. His 1.7 tackles per game last year would see him as joint 7th in the current squad. So the reality is that he is fine at winning the ball, without being elite at it. Whilst his creativity and dynamism would be useful, it is not the type of midfielder Spurs should be prioritising over a pure ball winner who can put those fires out. Tottenham struck gold with £9 million player who could become Ange Postecoglou's best signing yet. Spurs certainly gave a much better account of themselves in their 1-0 victory against Liverpool in the first leg of their Carabao Cup semi-final. Ange Postecoglou packed out his Tottenham midfield, and it stifled a lot of Liverpool's threat, something the home side were unable to do during Arne Slot's last visit to N17. Liverpool were arguably limited to the least amount of chances they've had in any game this season, something that should give confidence to Spurs would then eventually meet again. Of course, new signing Antonin Kinski deserves credit. His ability with the ball at his feet was instantly a harmonious fit with Postecoglou's philosophy. Kinski's passing range was night and day when compared to Fraser Forster, and he even looked more effective in that capacity than Guglielmo Vicario in truth. However, it was Lucas Bergvall who stood out most for Tottenham, a £9 million signing who has made a remarkably quick step up from Swedish football. Just over 6 months ago, Bergvall was still playing in the Allsvenskan. Now he's starring and winning games against Liverpool in a semi-final, an incredible young talent. Bergvall was guilty of 1 or 2 poorly timed challenges in the second half. He was very fortunate not to receive a second yellow. But with a reprieve from Stuart Atwell, Bergvall then took full advantage and timed his run perfectly to meet Dominic Solanke's excellent assist, a moment that will live long in the memory of the youngster. Of course, it has to be pointed out that Bergvall's job was made even harder in the middle once Rodrigo Bentancur needed to leave the field with a serious issue, a situation the young midfielder handled very well. And whilst the second leg won't come until February, Postecoglou may even already be thinking about how he plans to mastermind a result at Anfield. What is clear, Bergvall needs to feature on a regular basis for Spurs now. The Sweden international has seen an increase in minutes, but there's arguably no need to hold the all-action midfielder back any longer. That's it for today's update. If you like the video and want to keep up with everything Tottenham, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for our latest content. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and share it with other Spurs fans. Let's build our Tottenham News Today community together. Thanks for watching, and as always, come on you Spurs.